Hello. So yeah, I'm just going to do a whistle-stop tour through all the different various data things that you've got within Canvas. That should hopefully make your lives a bit easier. So I'll start off with the thing that course lecturers can do, and then start going through things that more admin-y types can do off the back of it. So starting off with what we can do as a lecturer, there's a thing within Canvas called New Analytics, and we've got it here on the side, New Analytics. And we can click on here, and that's going to then open up this analytics page for us, where we can look at our course grades. So all the assignments in the course, now this is my sandbox, so there's not many assignments that's actually been completed because it's just been for testing things. But you're able to see on each individual assignment what data there is and what sort of grades people have got. And you can scroll through it all and see the different ones that are there. You can filter assignments, discussions, or quizzes on there. You can even write in for a specific section or a specific student. So I could put a specific student in and scroll through and see if they've got anything submitted, which they don't on that one. Do I have anybody who would have something submitted? Possibly. No. So obviously it's picking up test student on there, so I'm not able to put in a specific person on that one for us. This then also comes with a very useful tool for you with this message students who. So you can say message students who have an average score range of whatever. You can decide exactly who it's going to, and it blank carbon copies it to them. And you can put a subject in and a message and just send them a message out saying, yeah, well done, your average score is this, or the average score is quite low. Do you need some additional help? Shall we make a meeting to help you out with it? We can message students whose work's missing. We can message students whose work is late, and that will allow you to just send it straight out to them. All students who haven't submitted something, all students who've submitted something late, you can send a blanket statement out to them very quickly from within this this setting. Next thing that we've got on there is weekly online activity. So you're able to see what people have done week on week with it, and it goes back to when the course was first founded. So it's quite a lot of data all the way back. You can see we've got quite a big spike there where people were doing a few things with it. And you can see on that one, there's 67 page views with an average of 13.4 page views per student on there. I can actually click on that data point and it's going to tell me who was it who was looking at it, what was it that they were doing. I can actually go by resource as well. I can see which are the things that were looked at, how often were they looked at, and by how many students were they looked at. And we can actually break it down even further. So if I was to choose Rick on this one and then scroll back, there we see the big spike in when he was doing things. I can click on there, and this is now filtered specifically for him. So these are all the things that he looked at that day. So really useful when you've got students saying, I did submit that work, or I did go on the course and I tried to get on it, but I couldn't get through. You can actually go on here and see if they did actually try to get on the course. You can see, did they actually try and go on that specific page? Did they download the file that you expected them to download? It's telling you that information on here. So lots of useful stuff in there for you. You're also able to then download it as a CSV. So you get even more information coming out from it. And you've got that evidence then of whether they've been doing what they've been saying they've been doing or not. We've got a student report, so you can see when your students were last active on your course, how many times have they submitted things on time, when did they last view a page. Now, participation is unfortunately doesn't work that well. That's looking at, have they done an old style classic quiz? Have they submitted an assignment that hasn't got any external tools related to it? And have they taken part in a discussion? So it's quite limited in what it means by participation. So don't always take that one at face value. But page views, really useful. On-time submissions and grade, incredibly useful for our students there. And again, we've got message students who are on here, so we can send messages out to them. We can download a CSV to look at things. And we've got some reports as well that we can pull out. And again, this is going to pull a CSV for us, which will give us that information, and we can then test that information and see what information comes out of it, basically. So lots of analysis that we've got that we can use. So, yeah, apologise for yawning. Lots of analysis there that we can use to assess what our courses are up to and what our students are up to for us. And this is on every course. It may need to be turned on by your admins in feature options, but it's there for you and for you to access. Going into the admin side of things, we've got some additional things in there, and this is per sub account. So it goes to Canvas inbox, Donna, for messages to students rather than to announcements. So it's a personal email. Canvas will also email that student as well, unless they've turned that notification off. So we have a statistics thing, which is just a very quick statistics bit there. I'm not going to scroll down because I don't want to give away student names, but it's a basic overview of what you've got on there. And we've also got analytics as well, which gives some more data on there. So courses, teachers, students, assignments, discussion topics, all that. Activity by date, activity by category, what the grade distributions are, all sorts of different bits and pieces there that you can look at just for a very quick overview of how Canvas is doing as a whole. So this is the data that you have built into Canvas. It's useful, but it's quite limited in the level of information it's going to give you. If you want to start getting more information out of it, then you're going to have to start using APIs and potentially setting up your own SQL database or getting Canvas to set one up for you at a cost. And I'm going to show you those very quickly and what they do. I don't want this session to be too long because you could easily talk on this one for hours and hours and hours. Instead, I just want it to be a headliner of the things that you've got and what you can do with it once you've got it. So starting off with the REST API, this is all the things that you are able to go into Canvas and pull out of Canvas with API pulls. So pretty much everything that you could possibly want on Canvas can be pulled out, and you can take that data and use it in whichever way you want to use it. And on this document, which I'll share in the chat for us, it talks you through everything that you get and how it comes out. So it's telling you if you run this one, which is search account domains, so you've got your get in there and it's v1 account search, it's going to come out with a response like this. So the name is University of Utah, the domain is utah.edu, the distance is always nil, but it's there because it used to tell you how far away you were from it, but it's preserved there for backwards thing. And then authentication provider, Canvas. So what authentication providers used on that one for things. So it could be that it's going through a single sign-on or something like that. So each of these tells you what you need to write and what you're going to get out of it at the end. Now, to show you a potential usage of this, here's one I made earlier. I don't tend to use these anymore, but it is one that I did used to use for it. So it is quite a lot of coding in here, and you do need to understand how to write that code to make it work. You also need to go into Canvas and generate a personal token, otherwise it's not going to give you any information. And if your personal token doesn't give you access to that information, you're not going to be able to pull anything either. So it's really something for admins on there. So in this particular bit of data coding that I've got here in PowerShell, I'm sending a message into Canvas, into its API logs, and I'm telling the computer, I want you to open an Excel spreadsheet. I want you to create a new table in there with the headings course name, course ID, assignment name, assignment ID, submission type, grading type, score. What's the scheme? Has it got Turnitin? Has it got a rubric? Is the rubric used for grading? And what's the due date? Then I've got a lot of code in here that's telling it where to find that information. So Canvas works on what's called a paginated view. So when you pull an API, it'll give you all the responses of page 1. It'll give you all the responses of page 2, all the responses of page 3. So you've got to get it to go through all of those pages to give you that information. So that's what this bit here is doing. It's basically telling us if we're going to start off with page 1, and then if the page is less than 60, add another 1 to it when you loop round. So it loops around and it does it again for us. I'm then getting it to get some information that we're calling courses, and I want to invoke a web request. I want it to put in the headers and the URI, which I've set up before, which has our token in it and has our basically it's just the start of our web address in there for it. I wanted it to take accounts, the courses within that account. I want 100 of them per page. I want them sorted by their SysID, and I want it to loop through these different pages each time, and I want it to take all that information for me, and that's going to give me a list of every course. And then I'm going to do that loop again, this time for assignments, and I'm going to go through every single course, pulling the assignments information from it. And then I'm going to pull the rubric information from it as well. And then this last bit here is all about pulling that information out and putting it into Excel. And then a little bit at the end is for writing out that information for us as well. So I can share all except for my token parts in here with you, because obviously you can't have my token if you want it. And this is how we do it. And if I then select this information and I click run the selection, you can see here it's created a book for us. It's created those bits there, and something with because I've taken my token out, it's not been able to pull anything. If I open an old version of it just in a separate window, so bear with me. Nothing quite like being prepared. So if I open one that I made earlier, let's go for that same one if I can find it. Where's it gone? There we go, every assignment. And then I'm going to run this one just off the screen so you don't see what my code is. It's going to go through and it takes some time, but here we go. It's pulling all of this information. What's the course? What's the course ID? What's the assignment? What's the assignment ID? What sort of submission is it? What sort of grading is it? What's the total score it can go up to? Has it got Turnitin on there? Has it got a rubric? And when's it due? And it's giving me all of that information that I can then go and use somewhere else. So I'm just going to stop that now because I don't need to pull this through. But it's created this spreadsheet for me with a load of information in. And you can use this to pull any information out about Canvas at all. So I'll just I'll pop in the pagination coding into the chat for us. Then you've got it. And then you just modify it for whatever it is that you're wanting to use it for. So this is what I've got it set up to do, like that. And in this one, the headers needs to contain your user token and security access. URI is your Canvas domain, a bfc.instructure.com. So hopefully that'll help some people pull some information out, because that is how it'll work for you. That same bit of code there, as long as you set up your headers and your URI correctly, will work with your Canvas area, and this will give you every single assignment that you've got. And you can backwards, we can work through it backwards to get more information out. Basically, just changing these bits where it's about courses to the bits in here about whatever it is that you're looking for within Canvas. It's the pagination is the difficult bit. There's a lot of stuff in the community that talks you through it as well and gives you much more detailed instructions than I've done so here. But it's just a quick overview for you. The other place that you get information out from is called the data portal. And the data portal gives you all of this information coming out of Canvas, but you need somewhere to store that. So we had an external company that set up a Canvas data warehouse for us. So every day it pulls this information out and stores it in an SQL database for us. Canvas do offer that as well at an additional cost. And they are also looking at updating their data portal soon. So there'll be more options on there than there currently are now. But just to show you the sort of things that you can make from it, this is the things that we're building at the moment for our staff and students to use, well, staff to use at the moment. And this is just pulling through assignments information out of Canvas for us that's updated every day. It is 48 hours out because Canvas data portal's 48 hours out all the time at the moment. Got some information coming out of Canvas about what students have been doing on it, how many students are using it, how many have used it in the past 7 days, how many sessions have there been in the past year, what's the average attendance functionality that's coming from eTracker, disciplinaries coming from eTracker, all sorts of different things on there that are coming from all sorts of different places for us. We're able to look at Canvas courses specifically, and we're in the renewal points now where people are starting to update their courses as of the next week. So we've got things looking at people updating their courses in the next week. What have they been doing? Have things been rolled out to them? And obviously we're just rolling a blueprint out now. So we've rolled out the blueprint to some courses. Has it been updated yet? Have they added their summative assignments the way that we expect them to? So we're able to actually track that level of things with it and see, are they working? Now, obviously, some courses won't have summative assignments on there. Some courses won't have updated blueprint discussions, but they will have other bits on there. So we're able to then look and see the different things that they've got. And we've been able to put clickable links in as well to jump to things. And you can see some of the things that we've got on the sides as well. I can't go into too great depth because it's obviously GDPR issues if we go further in, but we're able to look at, what's upcoming assignments are there. What's in the next 7 days, in the next 14 days? What late submissions do we have? Which looks like a very large number, but that's also including on any assignment. So there could be just simple quizzes that are optional that people have been attached to. And there's lots of optional formative quizzes that people don't need to do that will then get flagged up as late. Whereas obviously, as we're building new things in and we're able to distinguish between summative and formative, that'll become a more useful number for us. We're able to track our own mandatory training within the college for staff because we host that on Canvas. We're able to look at individual students and see what they've been doing. We're able to look at our progress tutorials and whether people are doing it. We're able to look at feedback and see, have people been grading in the time that they need to? Has feedback been released to students when students need it? So all sorts of different bits and pieces that we can build off the back of this data. If I just jump into Power BI, which is what we've used to visualize it, and I go into our recent sources, our Canvas SQL database, this is the sort of information that you can get. There's all these different tables in there. And if I just pull out, let's go for account and for courses, so I can just show you the sorts of combinations that you can do from there, and then into our transform data. You've got the choice between import and direct query. I pretty much always go for import because then that means people can actually use the data afterwards. It also allows you to count things. Direct query doesn't allow for counting of cells. So I've opened up the data for us now, and we've got all of our different courses in there. We've got all of our different accounts in there. I can modify this to make it look how I want it to look. So I'm going to keep Canvas ID in there. Don't really need depth. I don't want any deleted things, so let's get rid of anything that's deleted. I don't need to know parent accounts or grandparent accounts or root accounts or anything of that nature on there. But I do want to know sub account 1, 2, 3, 4, things like that. So I can actually go through here and I can start clicking through and clearing some bits and pieces out that I don't want and keeping bits that I do want, just to make the data a bit more manageable for us. bear with me for a second whilst I click these buttons. It's because of the way I've chosen to do it has made it a lot longer than it needed to be because I'm a spoon. There we go. Let's remove those columns. So we've got these ones here. And I'm just going to make the ID into text because I've noticed that Power BI has been struggling with whole numbers that are longer than a certain value recently. If I go into our call stem and I've got our account ID, let's make that text. What I can do now is I can join these two tables together to make it start giving us some more information. So if I merge it together and I say, let's do account ID by accounts ID that way, I'll do it left outer and click OK. I can now expand this out and I can bring in sub-account 1, which should tell us which department it's part of. So if I click OK there, and I'm just going to change the name there from sub-account to department, I've got a load of them that are set to null, but that's fine. We don't need to worry about the null ones. Let's get rid of a couple of those there, actually. There we go. So now we know that this course is part of computing. These ones are part of engineering. So we've actually been able to combine that data together to make a lot more sense of it. And all of them have things that cross between them, so you can build much more complex, more interesting and useful data for you to use. And you can build whatever sort of spreadsheet that you want by using all these data points. Pardon me. I'm not going to click into too many of them because obviously, again, GDPR is an issue on there. But you can see there's all sorts of different things in there. Module progression, there's quiz submissions, there's whether they've submitted things, there's users, there's pages, there's just pretty much everything almost. They are going to be updating this soon, and it will have Turnitin results will be available through here as well, and a few other bits and pieces. And they're also going to be updating it, so instead of a 48-hour turnaround, it becomes a 4-hour turnaround for it. So the data behind Canvas is very, very rich and very, very varied. And with it, as long as you've got people who are able to sit down and really play with it, you can get a lot out of it.